Today I speak to you about a critical topic that intertwines our past, present, and future. The phenomenon of floods, both in the literal and metaphorical sense. Over the last century, more than half of the deadliest natural disasters have involved floods. This statistic isn't just a number. It represents countless lives, dreams, and communities washed away in moments. Let us not forget the devastating tsunami on December 26, 2004. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake near Sumatra, immense ocean waves reached as far as East Africa, underscoring a harsh reality. Most floods are localized, but their impacts can be globally felt. This event serves as a reminder of our vulnerability to natural forces and the need for preparedness and resilience. But today I also want to delve into a different kind of flood, a metaphorical one that has been part of our collective consciousness for millennia. The story of Noah's Ark, as narrated in the book of Genesis, is not just a religious tale, but a reflection of our struggles with moral and ethical dilemmas. It tells us about the Nephilim, beings of immense strength and size, believed to be a mix of fallen angels and giants. Their existence, according to Christian scholars, was a significant reason for the great flood in Noah's time. The Bible in Genesis 6 speaks of a world consumed by wickedness and evil, leading to God's decision to reset humanity. This story, while ancient, has contemporary relevance. It raises questions about our own world today. Is our society marked by sin and wickedness? Or are we, like in the days of Noah, ignoring the signs of moral and ethical decay? Jesus, in Matthew 24, draws a parallel between the days of Noah and the time of his return. He speaks of a society oblivious to impending judgment, consumed by its routines and pleasures. This comparison is a wake-up call for us. It challenges us to reflect on our societal values, our individual choices, and our responsibilities toward each other. The flood narrative also offers a message of hope and redemption. Noah, a righteous man, finds favor with God and is saved from the flood. Today, we are offered a metaphorical ark in the form of faith and righteousness. The story urges us to choose a path of virtue and integrity, to be prepared not just for natural disasters, but for moral and ethical challenges. In our modern world, where technology, media, and culture often blur the lines between right and wrong, the story of Noah serves as a reminder. It calls us to uphold godly morals and standards, to resist the temptation to conform to a world often driven by materialism and self-interest. In the spirit of Noah, who warned his contemporaries of the impending flood, let us not ignore the signs of our times. We live in an age where the gospel of goodness and truth is readily available, yet often ignored or mocked. Let us be mindful of the choices we make and the values we uphold. As we face the challenges of our era, climate change, social injustices, moral decay, let us find strength in our faith, our communities, and our shared humanity. Let us build our arks not of wood and nails, but of compassion, understanding, and resilience. In the days of Noah, people were caught unawares, engrossed in their daily lives, oblivious to the looming disaster. This scenario resonates with our current situation, where many are indifferent to the warning signs of environmental degradation, social injustice, and moral decay. The flood, in its modern form, may not be a deluge of water, but a surge of crises that test our resilience as a global community. However, in this narrative, there is also a message of hope and a call to action. Noah's Ark symbolizes salvation, a beacon of safety in the face of overwhelming odds. In our context, this ark represents our collective efforts to address the world's problems. It's about building resilient communities, fostering sustainable practices, and nurturing a culture of empathy and mutual respect. We are at a crossroads, much like Noah was. We have the choice to either continue down a path of complacency and ignorance, or to heed the lessons from our past and make changes. Every action we take or fail to take shapes the future of our planet and its inhabitants. The question then is not whether a flood is coming, but whether we are prepared to build our ark. Building this ark requires us to be proactive in tackling the challenges we face. It means being informed, engaged, and compassionate. It involves educating ourselves and others about the importance of preserving our environment, advocating for policies that promote social justice, and living in a way that honors and respects our fellow human beings and the world we inhabit. We must also remember that building this ark is a collective endeavor. Just as Noah could not build the ark alone, we need every hand on deck. This means collaboration across nations, cultures, and religions. It calls for a united front where individual interests give way to the greater good. Noah's story was one of faith and action. He did not merely believe. He acted on his faith. This is a critical lesson for us. Belief in a better world is not enough. We must be willing to take concrete steps to make it a reality. This means engaging in our communities, participating in efforts to protect our environment, and being vocal advocates for social justice. We must also learn from the aspect of Noah's patience and perseverance. Building the ark was not an overnight task. Similarly, the solutions to our world's problems will not come instantly. We must be patient and persistent in our efforts. Change often comes slowly, but with perseverance it does come. Moreover, the story of Noah challenges us to be visionaries in a world that often lacks foresight. Noah prepared for a future that others couldn't see. In our time, this means envisioning a world that transcends current crises and imagining a future that is sustainable, equitable, and just. As we build our modern ark, let us also remember that it's not just about survival, but about creating a world worth surviving in. This ark is not just a shelter from a storm. It's a vessel carrying the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of humanity. It represents our collective effort to preserve not just human life, but the myriad of species we share this planet with, the diverse cultures that enrich our human experience, and the moral and ethical values that guide us. In this endeavor, let us also embrace inclusivity. Just as Noah's ark was a refuge for all kinds of living creatures, our efforts must include and consider the welfare of all people. Regardless of race, religion, or socio-economic status, we must work towards a world where everyone has a fair chance at a good life, where resources are shared equitably, and where no one is left behind. In closing, I call on each one of you to be part of this journey. Let us be the builders of a new ark, one that can withstand the floods of our time. Let us be inspired by faith, guided by wisdom, and driven by love for our planet and each other. The task may seem daunting, but together, there is no challenge too great to overcome. Thank you once again for your attention. Let us go forth with a renewed sense of purpose, commitment, and hope for the future. The time to build our ark is now, and every one of us has a role to play in its construction. Let's make it a journey of transformation for ourselves and for generations to come.